Hey guys, welcome to the 10 things I wish I knew when I first started playing Path of Exile 2. These are all from my own experience playing the game. Lots of blood, sweat and tears. Hopefully it will help you as well. Number 1. Don't teabag. So I know it feels like quite a feat to defeat a difficult boss or kill a bunch of tough mobs, and maybe you want to celebrate by doing a little dance, pick up your loot. But the problem is Path of Exiles 2 is notorious for its own death effects. Lots of mobs will leave behind a pool of poison or explode on death. This is especially bad for the last rare monster in a map. When they die, they'll burst out a death ray after a few seconds. So if you're hovering anywhere near it, celebrating with your victory dance, you might just get killed by it. Interestingly, a lot of players have complained, but it still hasn't changed, so unfortunately looks like it's here to stay. Number 2, be very careful when touching levers. The animation takes about 5 seconds, so if there's some weird stuff on the ground or there are uncleared mobs nearby, you could get locked in the animation and die. I've been burnt by this once, never again. Number 3, check out the map before you started. So this applies to campaign as well as mapping. When you first get into an area, the mobs actually don't detect you until you make a move. This should save you from getting swarmed as soon as you get into the map, which happened a few times for me. Number 4, you can finish the map before you do the lead mechanics. So because I'm still figuring out my build and finding the right equipment, what I've been doing is that I would complete the map before I do things like breach or expedition. For Lost Towers, I always go and flip the switch before I complete the rest of the map. Reason being, in the off chance I die, I won't have to redo the whole map, which is a bit frustrating for me. Not to mention you lose all the node buffs, and you also need another waystone. Number 5, make sure you salvage. So whenever I come back to town after either campaign or farming a map, I always prioritize salvaging socketed items or high quality items, because as I am experimenting with my build and trying different gear, I have very high demand for armor scrap and blacksmith whetstone. You need up to 20 to completely upgrade a piece of gear, so the more you can stock up, the better. Number 6, you can combine waystones to make a higher tier. This is especially important when you first start mapping, and you might only have a handful of waystones. What you can do when you want to try a higher tier map is buy these lower tier waystones from Doriani, go to the Reforge station and combine them to be a higher tier. So he can sell up to tier 5 waystones, and he always have tier 1s available. The thing to note here is 3 waystones of the same rarity will give you the higher tier of that rarity. Number 7, if you're looking for an upgrade, aside from trading, you can buy random items from NPC. Once you've unlocked Act 3, you can go talk to Alva in the Refuge, and you'll notice that she sells items that have no stats on them. What these are is that their rarity and stats will be randomly generated after you purchase. So instead of getting upgrades from drops, you could also try to find an upgrade by buying these random items, assuming you have the gold for it. Now there is a chance to get rare or even unique items from this, but the chances are quite low, so I wouldn't count on it. Number 8, don't be afraid to negotiate the price if you're getting trade spammed. Once in a while, you might drop something that looks like it could be useful. You put it on sale for 1 exalted orbs, and then you go back to your adventures, but then a minute later your screen gets filled up with trade requests for that item, and you realize you probably didn't know the correct price for it. So at this point, it's perfectly reasonable to pull it off the market and reprice it, or negotiate with the buyers for a more appropriate price. Often they will actually help you by proposing what they are willing to buy it at. This is perfectly fine as long as you're not intentionally baiting for bids. Number 9, stack some stun threshold in your gear. Once you start modifying map node attributes and doing league mechanics, you might notice the pack size gets bigger and bigger as you go. And if you're like me, trying to do your own build without divine gear, chances are you might get mobbed and die because you can't cast anything. I looked around a bit for a solution, and it seems like I haven't stacked any stun threshold. My only piece of gear that helps with this attribute doesn't exactly add a lot either. So if you're having a similar issue as this, try adding some stun threshold to your gear. Number 10, use the currency exchange. As I'm progressing, I found it very helpful to use the currency exchange to get things like the Greater Jeweler's Orb, which I just can't seem to drop. Now, like any other kind of auction house trading, if you need the item right now, you can putting an order for market price. Otherwise, you can always put in the order at under the market price and wait for it to be filled. I've been able to get a few stacks of whetstones and scraps with a bit of patience. And that's it. Thanks for watching. Any feedback or questions, please leave a comment. More POE2 content in my channel.